Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Tyranny and the Adventures of Sanan Tenys. Now joined by the Scarlet Fury verse. We basically entered the camp at the base of the entrance and saved the leader of the disfavored camp. And now I think we have to deal with the survivor of our previous attack. We bought some new things, but first we're going to create some new spells. We have some new sigils of expression to try out. So first of all, distant this, you get a fireball. You get a fireball, we can increase the range of the fireball. Our lore is currently 49, so if you add too many sigils, we can't cast the spell. 65, we can't cast 65, that's too crazy. Too much, we cannot cast that yet. Limitless Boundaries basically adds a area of effect to the spell. I don't think I can even cast that by itself, can it? 55. Not yet. Soon, though. But we'll do that. We'll create Fireball and we'll sign it to there. We'll create the same thing. We'll create Lightning Bolt, I assume. Electric Jolt, which I can give a duration sigil to as well. That makes this, that increases the stun deflection from 0.9, as it basically adds quite a bit of time. And it... is it... ooh. It's also got a small area of effect, which I can increase. Can I increase that area of effect? Yep, 2 meters area of effect, so I'll create Electric Jolt. That's 55, I can't do that yet. I can create that, though. Assign Electric Jolt. There. Now we have 4 spells, which is useful because they all have different cooldowns now. Because I can stay away and just keep zapping. I could give... if I made a very basic spell, for example, if I made a simple... Charged Fist, I could give it to Verse. That is definitely true, I could give that to Verse. But I'm not going to, because then she's going to start using it in combat. And she's going to be in melee range. Casting spells in melee range is not a clever thing to be doing. Right, let's keep moving here. There's something here we missed before, was it? Oh, you get it from the outside, okay. I don't think I missed anything else.
Quiet down!
Speed up.
Can't do that.
And move around in stealth mode. I wish there was a way to find things while not being in stealth mode, because it makes things a lot faster. Anyway, let's talk to these guys. What up? Prisoner says his name is Tarkus Demos. Rassus lets out a sigh, tapping his gauntleted finger to his temple. And I don't think this is a complicated matter. He dies. His family's been a driving force in the Venging Guard. Killing him should demoralize whatever's left of the Tarkus clan. All must be given the chance to find absolution in service to the Scarlet Chorus. The mage points a finger at the disfavored officer. And you know full well this has always been our way. He has a chance to be a slave or a soldier. Only then do we feed him to the pigs. We'd let you take prisoners, but you can't control them. You send these conscripts out on patrol and they never return, defecting all over again. I can't let this nonsense strategy continue. Well, I insist this Oathbreaker be taken to the voices of Nerat, leaving us at an impasse. Fortunately, we have a Fatebinder here to settle the matter for us. The chanter turns to you, an expectant smile creeping across her face. So, what say you? What should become of this prisoner? Execute the Oathbreaker. 1 chance to surrender is enough. Or, the chorus should be allowed its chance to recruit new warriors. Basically, you're going to make somebody happy and somebody angry. Scarlet Chorus is slightly favorable to us. You're very favorable to us. So, we could just go and... nah, I think we'll amp it up on the Sid, but... I said, less death, like, give him a chance to live. This is the sort of nonsense that got us into the mess we're in now. If we keep showing these mongrels mercy, they'll just bite us time and time again. If it will calm your nerves, I assure you this one won't be put on the battlefield. The mage snaps her fingers loudly, gesturing for her gang to listen. Make sure the prisoner is taken straight to the voices of Nerat. I won't keep you here any longer, Fatebinder. I know you have important business in the valley. Drastus salutes you, his iron gauntlet rapping against his breastplate. For the glory of Kyros. That guy's gone. Got everything here. I think we can just leave now. Oh, we need to go around to get the thing on the other side. Yep, we'll do that. Get out the front door. Go head around the back side. There's definitely a chest over here. It's on the map as well, which is useful. Right, what up? Climb up. Ooh, and we just leveled up, I think. experience we gained from... Yep, we leveled up from climbing up a rope. Your character has earned enough experience points to advance a level. Level up. Maximum health is increased. As your character is fully healed, you also increase 1 attribute point to your character and purchase a new talent. That's what we're going to do. We're going to level up. You also get a bonus temporarily. Anyway, let's level up. Character. Right. Increasing an attribute point costs 1 point until the attribute reaches 19. To raise an attribute point from 19 to 20 requires 2 attribute points. Well, faster cooldowns it is. Our control fire is now at 30. It used to be at 26 not long ago. Because it's quite low, we were gaining a lot of experience in it. Control lightning is much the same. We're getting experience in one-handed weapons. We have actually more experience in dual wield than we have in one-handed weapons, which is interesting. Because I think that's because of our high quickness. Because of our high quickness, we have high experience in dual wield. Anyway, our talents. We have talents to use. 1 talent point to use, and we need to find a place to put it. We have leadership, defense, power, agility, range, magic. I'm going to push a couple of points into magic, but then I'm going to go heavily into leadership. And magic points are really only because this grants you a bonus to your lore skill. And this grants you a bonus to your spell slots. Lore adds to your damage, no matter what, right? So, plus 10 to lore is going to boost my damage anyway. It's a very good thing to get. Charge Strike would be useful, but it uses Magic Staff. Like, Magic Staff is the problem here. Is the fact that Magic Staff skill isn't that useful for casting spells, only for using the Magic Staff. So there are a lot of skills here that use the Magic Staff. Like, Cone of Magic uses Magic Staff. Kennel Strength uses Magic Staff. But spells don't. So we're just going to get lore, which gives us a bonus to everything anyway. And you've already got a point in each here. A point into Duelist, a point into Skirmisher. Skirmisher basically gives you a lot of ranged things, and Duelist gives you a lot of melee things. Although there are a couple of things in Skirmisher that's nice. I think it's over here. Yeah, Evasive is really good. When superior to parry, use dodge skill to avoid incoming melee attacks. Also gain a bonus to defense against disengagement attacks. That's very useful. That's very, very useful, because that means you can focus everything on dodge, and the parry will be the same. What are we dealing with? The weapon sets? Yes, we know. Critical hit. Yep, a crit is better than a hit. Abilities? Yes, we know. Character recovery. After combat, you recover your health. But it's wounds. Worry about. Field interactions, yeah, we did that one as well. Working with companions. You have something to say, okay, good. We'll do that in a second. And quest journal. Self, yep. And store, yep. Let's talk to Verse. I couldn't help but notice how you were eyeballing the disfavored symbol littered about camp. Hardly a symbol, it's just a scroll. That's true, but it used to be the pride of Graven Ash's Legion before Kyros made them deface it. What happened? Word has it that Ash had been under more scrutiny than the other Archons, seeing as he took a stand against Kyros in the past. Even though he bent the knee at the end, that doesn't place him above suspicion. Kyros and the other Archons keep him on a tight leash. Ash's troops impressed the growing empire, but Kyros made them sacrifice everything they were up to at the point. Ash surrendered. They've been disfavored ever since, and fighting to earn back their honor. I guess that's why you don't cross the Overlord. Kyros holds a grudge with a mean, jealous streak. We can also basically go in this huge...
What do you need?
Talking with her. You can go learn... You've learned a thing to do about fighting in the Scarlet Chorus. Care to duel?
Fatebinder, I treat my craft like my mother treated her hagsberry pie. I don't give the recipe to just anyone. Come to think of it, I still don't know what was in that damn pie.
But when you like her, when she likes you enough, she'll basically duel with you and give you a boost to your skills. A good question, actually. Do you want me to do a lot of these talking on-screen or off-screen? Because there's a lot of stuff you can do. Like, I can just spend a lot of time just basically chatting with her and gaining a reputation. But that could be just a lot of talking, not a lot of fighting. Tell me something about yourself.
If you insist. I'm a Scarlet Fury. That should raise some flags for you. It means that I'm good at killing, and more importantly, that I enjoy it.
Also, now that she's a companion, her symbol down here used to be Scarlet Chorus, but now that's my emblem.
What I won't enjoy are the pleasures of funerary rites packed with weeping mourners. Someday I'll fall in battle, and then they'll roll me into a mass grave or heap me atop a shit-stained wagon. One more anonymous, knife-riddled piece of meat.
The Scarlet Chorus is a wonderful place.
Until then, I plan to take whatever I can from life and have a little fun along the way.
What is the significance of your feathers? Can't tell me that yet. How did you get conscripted? How did I think you have the wrong idea about me. The chorus didn't take me as a subbing maid. I strode into camp and enlisted. Someone tossed me a dented blade. I lived through initiation, spent a week butchering my neighbors, and I moved on with my new kin. Didn't waste time with goodbyes. My mother had long since died, and the rest of my family were louses. The girl I used to be, even she knew that she was worth more than all of them combined. Tell me about your life before the chorus. Life? What life? As far as I'm concerned, I didn't exist before the chorus. There was some girl on a farm wearing my face and talking with my voice, but she wasn't me. Sometimes she would sneak out at night, take a scythe, and have some fun with the livestock. Our shared interests began and ended there. When the Scarlet Chorus swept through my village on their long trek from the bastard city, that was when I finally woke up. I buried my old life, took red vengeance on anyone who'd wronged me, and I found the freedom I could only dream of was out there. What of your parents? My mother ran a successful farm, and I worked it for a number of years before I found the chorus. She was a hard, bitter woman, acted like the world owed her something. Never talked about my father, though I figured out a thing or two about him later on. He was a merchant from the Northern Empire who took a liking to her, and she him. He stayed around only long enough to get what he wanted. But never mind him. My mother had never had what you would call taste, so she couldn't have been terribly influential to me if he did stick around. Do you ever wish you could do things over and end up somewhere other than Kyros' army? That's as naive a question I've ever heard. Kyros is everywhere. If you aren't in the Overlord's army, you're being trampled by it. Of course, I could have labored on the family farm into my maturing years, married some dolt, and littered him a nursery of squealing piglets. Having my body torn to pieces by smaller versions of me sounds like fun. Then one day, when I decided enough was enough, I'd slit my husband's throat over breakfast and then run off to join the chorus anyway. My way saved a lot of time. Rose smooths back the feathers in her hair and shakes her head with a smile. You're a killer. Better just stick with the chorus. At least you understand. The chorus praises and rewards the thing inside me that I would have suppressed in civilized company. Life is too short to repress every desire, right? Especially if I have anything to say about it. Enough questions about your past. Tell me about your time with the Scarlet Chorus.
The Scarlet Chorus is mostly for madmen and peasants with rusty daggers, but it's also a little niche of freedom that I never had. Once I survived training and met my Scarlet Fury sisters, I saw a different side of the howling mob.
Also, I'm gaining levels of loyalty, so hopefully at some point she'll be able to tell me more things. Tell me about your training.
For new recruits shoved to the front lines, training means surviving the first battle. Anything beyond that is for the fighters who show potential, whether as blade dancers or arcane madmen. There's nothing in the world like getting put through the paces as a Scarlet Fury. Every day is a test of your commitment and passion. Failure means death. The first few weeks were the hardest, but also the most rewarding. I earned my name, picked up some quality weapons, and met my sisters.
This is all beautifully voice acted, by the way. You earned your name? If you think a simple farmer from the Tears would name her child Verse, I suggest you visit my old village. Most of them were walking around with surnames like Barrel or Fish. Not the most creative bunch. Chorus takes your name away. Whoever you were before, you aren't that person anymore. Then you earn back a name through great deeds, usually murderous ones. That's why you see choirmen walking around with names like Stink Mouse or Face First. There's probably a good reason for it. The Voices of Nerat gave me this name. When the Scarlet Chorus runs howling into battle, he doesn't hear war, he hears a symphony. When I fight with blade or bow, he told me that my music stands out louder than anyone else's, and contains too many parts to be easily defined. When you least suspect it, the Archon of Secrets can be downright charming. You can also basically bully her into telling you her real name, which you won't bother with. Tell me about the Scarlet Furies.
The elite fighters of the Scarlet Chorus. Your typical Horde recruit fights with a rusty spoon and a chip on his shoulder, but the Scarlet Furies are, well, different. We focus our madness. We coordinate, we kill, we dance. It's like art. Imagine a sculpture that twisted in weird, beautiful angles, and then gutted you too fast for you to realize what was happening.
See, as a diplomat, I like to curry loyalty.
It is, as I remind myself all the time, the most important day of my life
I don't
was when
necessarily
the
agree,
voices of Nerat recognized my potential.
but as a diplomat, I recognize it's
sent me
good to keep my
Scarlet
people
Fury training.
liking me. Tell me about your weapon skills. When I was a kid, it didn't take me long to realize I was a natural. I could pick up a rusty kitchen knife and skewer a rat from across the room. Scarlet Chorus gave me opportunities to further educate myself. My sisters were a bit surprised how quickly I took to different fighting styles. She frowns for a moment, then shakes off whatever she wanted to say. Back to my questions.
What do you need to know?
Okay, she's loyalty level 1 now. Who are your sisters? Who were they would be more appropriate. Three Whispers, Red Geyser, and Seeking Sheath. The best fighters I ever met. There wasn't a foe we could take down together. Our fighting styles complemented perfectly, so we divided up the killing work like bards sharing a song. At least we used to. He presents a solemn salute. What happened to them? We were scouting around Vengeance Well during the siege, back when we only suspected the guard of organizing in secret. My sisters and I came upon a group of them. Or, Kyros knows, maybe they found us. No one said anything. We drew iron and bronze. That was when everything went wrong. I was supposed to take point and occupy the guard with a dance of blade work, something disorienting while my sisters picked their marks. I hesitated. I lost my nerve. Instead of rushing the Oathbreakers, I froze with my weapon drawn. My sisters fought on without me, but they were off balance, like whatever I had was catching. They died. I lived. My sisters were relying on me to lead the dance, and I failed them. Your actions were inexcusable for a fighter of your station. Like me more! You're absolutely right. If I had witnessed the same in one of my sisters, I might have killed her for endangering the rest of us. Good thing for me that they didn't get the chance, she chuckles, but there's no humor in it. Hesitation is a rot. It's unbecoming of any chorus member, and unheard of in a Scarlet Fury. I would cut it from my body and cauterize the wound if I only knew its source. She grimaces once more and turns inward, contemplating. Any thoughts on the topic, or are we just here to open old wounds? Any idea why you lost your nerve in battle? I wish I had an explanation. For the first time I lost the dance. The song of murder drew silent. Instead, there was only rigid, organized control. I had more questions about your sisters. Tell me about the three of them. She was calm. Red Geyser was one woman Siegebreaker, and Seeking Sheath is she could pass a spear through 12 rings on the far side of a battlefield. Accuracy.
What do you need to know?
And were the Scarlet Chorus leaders, the Voices of Nerat. Yep. What makes the Voices of Nerat so powerful? He's the Archon of Secrets, and he didn't earn that title lightly. People say he knows more than every sage in the tiers combined, and that he can think 1,000 steps ahead of other Archons. That would be putting it lightly to say he's never alone under that disapproving helmet of his. If you make secrets your business, I guess having people constantly whisper in your ear is a good thing. I usually want people to shut up, but to each their own. Tell me about the fifth eye. A walking nightmare, that one. I couldn't begin to guess who lives under that armor and speaks with that reedy voice, but I'll tell you what I know. When your world is built on secrets, it pays to have a few extra eyes. The Voices of Nerat has eyes in abundance, some that he keeps close and others that he sends out into the wilderness. Whoever the fifth eye was before he came into the Archon service is now just a half-mad, jabbering speech hole, a bodily function, in other words, an eye. Wait, Nerat's eyes are people? Maybe they used to be people. Whatever they are, they're eyes now. Folks like to whisper that the Voices of Nerat takes his servants and cuts out all the extra parts that they don't need. I once heard the Voices and the fifth eye in a tent together. The voices kept screaming, "Redundancies! Redundancies!" Every time another gout of blood would spray on the canvas walls. I can't even guess what he was cutting out. How many eyes does the Archon of Secret have? The number keeps changing, either because it grows or because rumors don't mean shit. 3, 7, 19. Some even say that all of us are eyes and we don't even know it. Hey, it's one of those questions that drives you mad if you allow yourself to think about it for too long. Hey, you could be one of Tunon's eyes. Bet you never thought of that. Back to my questions. Tell me about the Voices of Nerat. He's a madman, but that never stopped me from following his orders. Even in a legion as cutthroat as the Chorus, you know better than to get in the Voices' bad side. People who cross him, or just people he meets, don't tend to survive the experience. If he ever seems disorganized or lost, it's because he's channeling one of the personalities he's devoured over the years. His mannerisms shift over to someone else, someone who's probably long since dead. Better to die than become part of the Voices. Basically, the Voices of Nerat, the Marcus of Secrets, basically sucks people's consciousnesses into himself, which is fun.
What do you need to know?
You're pretty much done now. Are you a spy for the Voices of Nerat? Insufficient reputation. What What do you think of those who defy Kyros' authority? The Tearsmen can either fight or submit to Kyros' peace, and only one of those options captures my interest. Suppose I appreciate when they go down fighting. If they did otherwise, I would need to find another excuse to flay them. You need to understand, whether we unify the Tears under a shared banner or at the bottom of a mass grave makes little difference to you, me, or Kyros. That is an interesting view of contrast. It's a pragmatic one anyway. The Scarlet Chorus caught onto the idea that at the beginning of the campaign, if no one objects that we're here to cover bloody Beth for gain and amusement, then by all accounts that is our purpose. Besides, unification is such a vague concept that Kyros allows the disfavored and the Chorus to interpret it as they will. Overlord is concerned with the results. I'm happy to focus the details, especially if it means cutting off a farmer's legs while his family watches their land burn. And no shame in taking pleasure for your work. No, there isn't, Fatebinder. I suspect that we're going to make something great together. A line of bodies stretching as far as the old walls. It's going to be beautiful. Did you fight in any notable battles? I spent some time in the Azure towards the end of the war. I could have gone there. Beastmen ripped my unit apart. We thought they might be working under Cairn's orders, but we never found out for sure. Change the subject. What's your thoughts on the disfavored?
The Scarlet Chorus
is
mostly for madmen and peasants with rusty daggers, but it's also a little niche of freedom that I never had.
Yeah.
Once I survived training and met my Scarlet Fury sisters.
Before you hesitated when you brought up your fighting styles. Why?
Why?
Verse loyalty 2. So you got verse loyalty 2. I can now do this. Noticed that, did you? It's a matter I'm not used to discussing, mostly because I don't know how. I mentioned before that I'm good at picking up different weapons and fighting techniques. The truth is, I'm better than good. I could flay a man so cleanly that I'd leave a single strip of skin behind. He wouldn't even need to be tied down. That was one of the first things I discovered about myself after joining the Scarlet Chorus. The voices of Narat recognized it in me as well. Which is why he singled me out for the Scarlet Fury training. Go on. My sisters were like masters of their fighting forms, but since they died, my style has changed. Almost like I can kill as they did. I could pick up a bow, a lance, anything really. I could tear someone to pieces with a weapon that I only watched my sisters use. I don't know what that could mean. That worries me. And pretty much everything for now. You can talk here again.
Fatebinder. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, we get better
What
chatting.
do you need?
Here to Jewel?
That would be an understatement, and I thought you'd never ask. Since you're obviously at a huge disadvantage, I'll let you pick our weapon of choice.
Let's try dual-wielding knives.
Exotic. Good choice. I'll leave you to guess which one is my dominant hand.
Basically, you get 5 ranks in dual-wield, which is pretty good.
You held your own. Call me impressed. Need anything else, or did I tire you out?
You can also add talks about her weapons abilities, but for now, let's just open this up. Sigil of Proximate Action. I do not have enough lore for this. This is a light leather gauntlets, which is better in deflection, precision, and unarmed DPS. Unarmed DPS, okay, that's straight better for you. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll head down. We'll give you light leather gauntlets. Can't read this yet, can we? Scroll contains a magical expression which is used in spells that generate an aura around the target. Interesting.
Sorry, I can't.
Let's leave this area, shall we? We've been here for long enough. And I've been speaking for too long. I'm glad for the voice acting sometimes, because it lets me take a break. Okay. Let's just leave, shall we? We've pretty much done everything it needs doing. The Edgering Ruins to the Disfavored Camp. 3 hours. It'll take you 3 hours. Yes. We'll walk that way. Ooh. Dodge +1, athletics +1. Not sure why, but we got that anyway. Take what you can, but leave the cart, otherwise we will seize you and your wares. Sterling. We can hold his wagon for a bit. Slow down a moment. I know we're both eager to watch the Archon's bigger of a tactics, like a pair of magpies, but I need to ask you something first. What's that? The voices of Narat told me that you've come as a mediator. Considering the source, well, I can't help but feel I'm only hearing half the story, so let's have it out. What's so special about you? Just lie. Did the voices of Narat ask you to spy on me? I've got subterfuge to do this now. At a loss for words, Verse regards you with momentary unease. Well, Are you even surprised? He's the Archon of Secrets. Knowing in advance is his business. So is snatching up any advantage over Graven Ash. Those two compete like a couple of new recruits for a spot around the fire. It's nothing nefarious. The voice is just curious why you're here. If you wanted to know more, you wouldn't be able to suss it out that easily. He would have sent one of his scarier peons in my stead. You want to tell the truth? Why so suspicious? It's just a feeling I got. When the Archons are together, the air gets as taut as a bowstring. I can't help but think that no amount of compromise will get them seeing eye to eye. So why invite a mediator from Tunard's court? It doesn't add up. Well, you're kind of loyal to me already. I don't think you're more loyal to me than you are to the Archon of Secrets, though. I've been with the Scarlet Chorus since the early days of the Conquest, so I can say it's been building a few years now. There's an energy about those two, like a pair of storms moving to collide. I heard tell that Graven Ash and the Voices of Terratus shared some bad blood in the Northern Empire. But I don't know any of the particulars. By my authority, the Archons will fall in line. That sounds exactly the attitude to set this campaign in the right direction. I don't envy you the task of getting to cooperate, which sounds about as easy as teaching a tornado to heal. At least you sound like you know what you're doing. Oh fine, I guess I did this. I'm here to deliver an edict from Kyros. That makes a crazy kind of sense. We also got a reputation ability. Considering you know the siege has taxed the armies, I can understand why Kyros would send you with an edict to speed things along. Have you read it? You know what it says? Karens must claim Ascension Hall by Kyros' Day of Swords or all will perish. One more thing for the Archons to fight over. Well, thanks for cluing me in. If Kyros sends any lightning our way, just tell me when to duck. What else has the Voices of Terratus told you? Only that I could find you in the Edgering Ruins. Truthfully, I could have picked you out of a crowd. You're the only one of us who hasn't spent the last few months bathing in the stink of the Mentani River. He laughs, but there's a forced nature to it. I really ought to be meeting with the Archons. The war tents is just past the center of the camp. One last thing. One more thing. Be careful around these disfavored types. They take their work seriously, and most have suffered too many blows to the head. Right. This is robbery. Open this up.
That wasn't so hard.
Steal. This is Kyros' law. Kyros' law, you say? I must deal with Kyros' law. But hail, Fatebinder, the disfavored count. Nods at your approach. Camps, one up ahead. Don't mind us, just clearing out the rabble. I still don't understand what I've done to offend. I respect that all of these are now disfavored lands, and I'm happy to give the Legion a proper toll, but she's going on about trading rights. What nonsense is that? Am I not allowed to trade one thing for another? It's not like I'm selling weapons to angry peasants or anything of the sort. The Overlord regulates all trade. If you lack the proper permits, your goods are forfeit. A trade permit? Well, how was I mean, to whom would I speak for such a thing? Not us, and not our problem. Maybe march your butt to Bastard City and plead your case before Tunon. But we'll lighten your burden and relieve you of your wares first. That should make the long trek a bit more bearable. You're on disfavored land. I think we can leave this on and they'll like us. Or we can basically go to say, because we're a Fatebinder, if you want to argue anything before Tunon, you can argue it before me. Anything to be argued before Tunon may be argued before me. That's true. I'm a Fatebinder. What is there to discuss? We should kill this mongrel and... Warrior pauses, placing her hand in front of her mouth. If the Fatebinder wishes to weigh in on the matter, courtesy demands we listen. Soldier clears her throat, looking at you expectantly. This is a disfavored matter, but I know the agents of the court do so love to throw their judgments around. Well, you could rob me now and have my supplies today, or you could leave me alive and have fermented honey all year long. Even I know a few family recipes for painkillers and healing drafts. Any army will need those. Potential goods, the war effort, lie. What a coincidence! Your family recipe for wound paste smells just like the Scarlet Fury's own concoction. Where did you steal this? I don't know what you're getting at. How stupid do you think I am? Slow down, I'll tell you everything, just don't hurt me. I found most everything in the forest in the valley. I'd keep my head low when I heard sounds of combat, then I'd take a look and grab whatever wasn't claimed by the first victors. Then you stole from the dishonored dead? How else did you get your hands on that iron? You would come here and sell us our own armaments? If anything, As an owner, I will return it, but this iron would have turned to rust if left in the mud of the battlefield. The disfavored are few in number, is that not right? You need a man like me to gather up supplies that would otherwise go to waste. He was looting from the dead, and then tried to sell them back to the same army they got them from. You may trade your wares freely, but lie again, you'll have you killed. The disfavored will tolerate your presence, but you will pay them handsomely for such charity. Leave this cart as a gift for Graven Ash, then leave and never come back. Sterling Hagnon. Lethian's Crossing, okay. So he's linked to Lethian's Crossing. What's your favor like? Your favor's at 85. He's disruptible indeed. So, the disfavored will tolerate your presence, but you will pay them handsomely for such charity. We will? The disfavored soldier clears her throat with a cough before repeating herself in a more upbeat manner. We will. It sickens me to make exceptions for this vulture, but you supply the disfavored with profit. Perhaps this indiscretion is for the best. It's not like our larders are overflowing. A work slave to scrounge provisions would be an asset. Thank you for interceding on my behalf. I know my life will now depend on showing the disfavored due gratitude for suffering my presence. If I must grovel a bit to earn my daily grain, so be it. Good. Can I talk to you now? Thank you for talking down the disfavored from doing worse. Sad times we live in when making a humble living is branded a crime. So saving your hide was worth... Oh, well, naturally. Is this now a shop? This is now a shop, okay, so what do we have here? Ironwalker Helm, fine. He's got some really high-tech, high-class gear here as well, unfortunately. What else do we have to sell? Nothing there. Hat. I want to keep the hat. I like the hat. Keep that as well. Anything? Guarded expression. Guarded form. What's guarded form? Guarded form is alter a target's armor. Sadly, we can't afford any of this right now. We haven't got any of them. Nowhere near enough money, I don't think. That's 9, right? Do I have 9? 21... 40 each, I think. That's 60, 80. I don't think about enough. 28, 26, 20. 20 each. That's technically 2, but that's a lot of things to sell. The technique costs 4, but I don't want to do that. I'll have to come back and get that later. But anyway, next time, ladies and gentlemen, we will go into the camp and talk to the Archons and read to them the Edict of Kyros. I'll catch you guys then. Bye.